Are you thinking about your seaplane rating? Kerry Waldy here with Flight School Life School. I got a few things for you to do before you begin your seaplane training. Now, this is after you've decided on where you're going to get your training. I think that's obviously an important part of the seaplane rating. And for me, I picked a school in northern Michigan called Giving Wings Aviation. And it so happened that I understand that operation really well because I was a flight instructor there for a lot of years. And it's one of the best flight schools in the Midwest. And it's a great place to learn how to fly a seaplane with so much water all around you. Once you choose your school, then it's time for you to do first acquire your ACS. Make sure you go on the website, and for me it was a commercial ACS, your Airman Certification Standards, and go to the chart in the back, and it will show you what are the areas of operation that you're going to cover. And as you delineate those, I always print out my ACSs. I know sometimes it's a hog to print, but for every rating I've ever got all the way through ATP, I've printed out my ACS because I use it and I work it as my master study document. And I'm shocked at how many students often come even for an advanced rating, like a multi-engine rating, and they haven't even looked at the ACS. This is how you're going to be graded. And it's the beginning process of becoming a good airman in that rating. So once you get your ACS, I print out the applicable pages and I begin to get a 3-ring binder ready. And this was my seaplane rating binder, and I get a binder for every rating. This becomes my master study document. The next thing you need to do is to grab your study materials. Now, some say, oh, just grab your float plane rating and this will be quick, it'll be easy, and it's a good way to maybe check off the BFR list. But I want you to understand that don't sleep on this rating. Don't sleep on studying because it has its own unique meteorology. It has its own unique terminology. It has its unique environments that you're operating in. And you don't want to sleep on this. You want to put in the time to study because if you don't, it has the potential to bite you in a way that other realms of aviation don't. So Giving Wings puts out a study guide that's a good starter, and it's specific to the aircraft that they use, and so that's good. I will get supplements as well. So I would recommend getting the FAA book. Go ahead and grab the FAA book on that, and then that'll get you going with the FAA lingo. Sometimes it's a little dry. And so I liked this book, and that is Notes from a Seaplane Instructor. And the information often overlapped, but it was good. As you get these materials, begin to study, and you're highlighting and you're noting, and you're saying, ooh, that's a good concept. You're writing questions in the margin for your CFI. And then also you're taking big concepts and you're putting them in your master notebook because these will end up being oral exam questions. And believe it or not, my oral was substantial. It was very thorough. And so studying these techniques are very important. So the study guides, and as you begin to study, you're accruing that information in your notebook. Then, as I was reading and studying, I began to look at YouTube instruction. It feels like there's nothing you can't learn on YouTube. And there are some really good instructional videos as you follow someone getting their seaplane rating. I chose the ones in Alaska because that's their bread and butter up there. And that helped me understand some terminology and just was motivating as well to study. Then the last thing I did is I create this master notebook, and it takes each maneuver and it compiles it in this way. What are the conditions that requires this maneuver? Let's say it's glassy water landing or rough water takeoff. What are the conditions? And in that condition, I take the concepts from the FAA book and the other books, and I'll begin to write out a study guide for those things under the conditions. Then what's the configuration of the airplane? Conditions, configuration. What flap setting? Obviously, if you have amphib flopes, water rudders, those kind of things are important that they're configured correctly. And then also speeds. Conditions, configuration, speeds. I memorize those. And then the last one is execute. How do I execute this maneuver? And on this document, then, I began to study. And after each lesson, we would debrief, and then I would write notes on things I missed or things I need to get better at. And then, before the previous lesson, either the night before or the day of, I would visualize those maneuvers in my mind going through using my master study document so that I could not make the same mistakes multiple times, because each day you're layering. If you do an accelerated course, you're layering new concepts on pretty quickly. So these are the things that I did to get my float plane rating, and it was a fantastic time. So I wish you the best. This is the time. Think about, dream about that float plane this summer. Godspeed.
Gear is up for water landing. Gear is up for water landing.